This week, the overnight interbank interest rates in Russia hit a 6-month high, spurring talks about liquidity problems in the banking sector. Timothy Krasuk has more.
Talk of liquidity problems began when the overnight interest rates went up all the way to 6%. That's up to 3 times higher than what it was during the beginning of the year.
In the previous 2 months, we have seen central bank actively intervening on the ruble exchange rate market. So according to the central bank representative, they sold around $9 billion in reserves, and this definitely has reduced the available ruble liquidity.
On the contrary, Herbert Moose, the chief financial officer for one of Russia's largest banks, VTB, says cash isn't the problem, and explains the shortage of liquidity is tied to the season.
I would primarily associate that with the approach of the Christmas and New Year holiday periods. I think broadly banks want to make sure that they're properly funded for the relatively long holiday period that is in Russia, the beginning of January. So that's really the main driver. We've seen the banking liquidity is actually relatively robust. I think if anything, banks have too much liquidity.
Most of the pre-crisis measures offered by the central bank, like unsecured lending, have been primarily repaid. Analysts say the current high overnight interbank rates will not affect the population.
Deposit inflows, they're more sensitive to the real interest rates, which are still highly positive. So essentially, despite the inflation has accelerated, I do believe that the real interest rates are still staying relatively high for the Russian population, and thus we'll definitely see the continued inflows to the ruble deposits.
One outlying problem is non-performing loans. A rebounding Russian economy is expected to reduce the amount of money set aside to cover risky loans. That could leave more cash available for lending. Timothy Krasuk, Business RT, Moscow.